Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Why Wasn't It Better? I am your host, Patrick Darms.
And I'm your co-host, Anton Paras.
Rest in peace, Terrence Stamp. He recently
Yeah.
passed away. We're here to talk about Last Night in Soho. Edgar Wright steps outside his usual genre for a bold swing at psychological horror. Last Night in Soho had style to spare and a promising premise, but reactions were all over the place. Was this a misfire, a hidden gem, or just not what anyone expected? Here to help us answer these questions is a longtime return guest making his, I don't even know what number appearance on the podcast, Zion Parker. Welcome back, sir.
Welcome back, Zion.
Hey, glad to be back.
Glad to have you back. Perhaps this will be a little bit more fun to talk about than The Color Purple.
I forgot that was the last one.
That was
Yeah.
a different kind of fun. It was
Yeah.
still fun because, of course, we always have fun conversation, but I think it's the mood's different.
Yeah,
I think-
this is definitely tonally different, so I'm excited about it.
Do you have any
This
fun
is
updates
about
for
as
the
different.
listeners?
This is about as different as it gets. Yes.
Any fun updates? Not necessarily. These days things are kind of like humdrum. So
All right. Well, let's hope things move from humdrum to titillating to exciting, just like
Yes.
Last Night in Soho.
that was a good
Indeed.
transition. I have to give it to you.
Oh, thank you.
Anton, why don't you do the intro here?
So, an aspiring fashion designer is mysteriously able to enter the 1960s, where she encounters a dazzling wannabe singer. However, the glamour is not all it appears to be, and the dreams of the past start to crack and splinter into something far darker. Released on October 29th, 2021 by Universal Pictures, Focus Features, Film 4, Perfect World Pictures, Working Title Films, and Complete Fiction Pictures. Directed by Edgar Wright, screenplay by Edgar Wright and Christy Wilson Cairns, starring Thomasin McKenzie, Anya Taylor-Joy, Matt Smith, Rita Tushingham, Michael Ajao, Terrence Stamp, and Diana Rigg. Budget of $43 million, so $50 million adjusted for inflation. Box office of $23 million, so $27 million adjusted for inflation. It has a 75% Rotten Tomatoes score. What an intro to the episode. I'm sure a lot of questions abound. Pat, why are we talking about Last Night in Soho?
First and foremost, I want to apologize for making you do that intro after the long weekend that you had.
Oh, you know what? I feel like the weekend I was one of the ghosts that the main character experienced.
Your face was just a CGI blur.
It's just very blurry, or at least that's how I feel.
Why we chose this, well, it is spooky season. We're trying to do horror-ish movies in October, and I would describe this movie as horror-ish if someone was going to ask me what kind of movie this is. And, you know, Anton, we cover the Halloween movies. We cover your classic horror. Like, we earlier this season, we did The Thing. We did Poltergeist. You know, we've done things like that. But I always want to make a point to try to cover, like, non-traditional horror movies that don't fit the mold of, like, what you would typically think is something scary. And I think this film really falls into that category. And I think it was a worthy choice for Why Wasn't It Better, because expectations for this were high. Edgar Wright is a very well-respected filmmaker, and him doing something different like this had a lot of hype going into it. Unfortunately, this film didn't make any money. I think it being released during COVID certainly didn't help, but it seems to be quite polarizing. And before I turn things over to Zion, because he really jumped at the opportunity to appear on this episode, this is a strange movie because as popular as Edgar Wright is, it doesn't seem like a tremendous amount of people I know have even seen this. But Zion, let me kick things over to you, because yeah, you really were excited to talk about this.
Yeah, I actually saw this movie opening night, birthday, because it's like the 28th of October. So it was kind of weird. Like the way I go about watching films, I try my best not to watch like a second or third trailer. So the only thing I had saw was the teaser. And it looked so interesting to a point where I was like, I have got to see this. So I was in LA at the time, downtown LA. I went to LA Live and I saw it. And I had thoughts. First, we were in like the middle of the pandemic, and I noticed like just the amount of people that should be in the theater weren't, it just wasn't there. So it was like me and I think like three other people, to be honest with you. It was interesting. To be completely, I forgot that Edgar Wright had directed it till I actually did some research after I watched it. But the film at times, like overall I really liked it, but it felt, I don't know, like a little, it felt like a Goosebumps episode towards the end. I will say that.
A good observation. I don't think I saw this when it came out. I thought I had, Anton, but rewatching this for this episode, I had no recollection of this, which leads me to believe I hadn't seen it at all, because this is only a 4-year-old movie.
I did see this in theaters.
Both of you were contributors to the $23 million that it made.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, do I get a medal? No, but hey, fun fact for the episode.
You're an Edgar Wright fan, right, Anton?
Oh, very much so. Very much so. Hard to choose just where is it with longtime collaborators who he often works with, like Simon Pegg, maybe some more of his work on this side of the ocean, like Scott Pilgrim. But tonally, I'm a big fan of Edgar Wright.
I'm not, but I don't dislike him either. I like his comedies from the 2000s, like Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. I think Scott Pilgrim is a cool movie, but it's just not my cup of tea. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care for The World's End or Baby Driver. I really liked what he probably would have given us for Ant-Man. That's a film that we've covered, Anton. Although that doesn't really count. It's not one of his movies.
I remember we discussed him on that episode, so listeners definitely check out Ant-Man.
And then I'll give him his share of credit for he was one of the major screenwriters on that Tintin movie that Spielberg made with Peter Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I am excited for, though? He's got a movie coming out in a couple weeks. The Running Man.
It's a solid lineup. It looks really, really fun.
I want to cover it eventually when it hits streaming. That is one of my favorite Stephen King short stories.
Are you going to see it in theaters?
Probably not. Just because I don't get to the theater much.
I'll
tell you one thing. If I can convince my wife to go, we'll see what happens.
I think I saw that the host of The Running Man, I think they're going to have it as either a game show or reality show, is Coleman Domingo. And I've really loved his stuff.
I think it's him and Brolin, right?
Yes.
You read the book, right?
Yes.
I hope it's like the book, because the Arnold version of it that came out in the 80s
it's a bit different.
It's a bit different. Zion, if you want to read a good Stephen King book, The Running Man.
Noted.
Wild.
Yeah. And always ready for a bit more Glenn Powell in my life. So
looks like a good role for him for sure. But back to this movie Last Night in Soho. Yeah, I guess I just didn't see it. About halfway into this, rewatching this the other night, I'm like, I don't remember any of this.
You're not the only person that didn't see it. I mean, we talked about the box office. We'll talk about the history, but goodness, did millions of people miss out?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
If nothing else, this is a really cool movie to look at.
Mm-hmm.
What a visual treat this is. I can't wait to talk about the visuals in here, because if there's one thing Edgar Wright knows how to deliver on, it is the visuals.
And transitions.
Yes. And practical effects.
Yes.
There's a lot of really clever practical stuff in here. More on that a bit later. Production history for this now. Edgar Wright first conceived of the idea for this film back in 2007. Prior to filming The World's End in 2013, he pitched the idea to producers as what he called a, quote, dark Valentine to London and the Soho neighborhood. He had wanted to make a film involving the 1960s, primarily influenced by his parents' stories and his record collection, but he recalled that his mother's memories of swinging 60s London were not always fond ones, and she once said, quote, I went to Soho once with my friend, and we got harassed by a man and chased out, and that's the end of the story, end quote. His obsession with 1960s London helped shape the themes of Last Night in Soho. He said, quote, something that I find truly nightmarish, and I guess there's an element where I'm sort of giving a sharp rebuke to myself, is the danger of being overly nostalgic about previous decades. In a way, the film is about romanticizing the past and why it's wrong to do that, end quote. Thought that was a pretty intelligent quote on his part. A lot of people romanticize the past. We see it all the time.
Yeah. Why was it called the swinging 60s?
I think there's a lot of different ways to answer that, Anton.
Sorry, I just purposely threw a question that I knew would be very uncomfortable to answer. So we can continue.
What you should do is watch Austin Powers.
Right.
That'll give you a better idea. Maiden named Spitz.
You just gotta watch the last 20 minutes of this movie and you will get your answer.
Yeah. Filmmaker Sam Mendes first introduced Wright to screenwriter Christy Wilson Cairns, who later collaborated with him on 1917. She worked as a bartender at the Toucan in Soho for 5 years and lived around the corner above the Sunset Strip on Dean Street. On the night of the Brexit vote in 2016, they went on a bar crawl through the basement bars of Soho, ending up at one called Trisha's, where Wright pitched her the story of Last Night in Soho. After the release of Baby Driver in 2017, Wright decided to pursue this project instead of a sequel. He and Wilson Cairns rented an office in Soho and began collaborating on the screenplay. They wrote the first draft in 6 weeks before she had to leave to begin 1917 with Mendes. Wright originally wanted the 1960 scenes to have no dialogue or only be accompanied by music, quote, that they should be like dreams, end quote. Wilson Cairns suggested the character of Sandy have dialogue saying, quote, we have to fall in love with Sandy, and I think it's difficult to fall in love with her if she doesn't say anything, end quote. Well, thank goodness they did that, because that would have been pretty tough to watch. Last Night in Soho was originally titled Red Light Area, and then The Night Has 1,000 Eyes. The final title originates...
That's horrible. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It's horrible.
yeah, that's not good. They went in the right direction. Because Last Night in Soho, I think, pretty good title.
Yeah. Night Has 1,000 Eyes.
Not great.
Nope.
Red Light Area, not great.
Sound like a Tubi original. It's terrible.
It does. Red Light Area sounds like if you asked ChatGPT to write a movie about prostitution. It's like Red Light District? No, Red Light Area. The final title, Last Night in Soho, comes from a 1968 hit single by the English pop band Davy D, Dozy, Beaky, Mick, and Titch, no idea, and a conversation Wright had with filmmaker Quentin Tarantino, who was told by Allison Anders that Last Night in Soho was, quote, the best title music for a film that's never been made, end quote. And this is an interesting tidbit, Anton. The title may also partly be inspired by the 1985 Martin Scorsese film After Hours, which is originally going to be titled One Night in Soho.
That's interesting.
Which is, I'd say, underrated Scorsese movie, by the way.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Or Pat, have you ever been to Soho?
In London? Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Fun.
I once saw what is it, Lon Chaney eating Chinese food in Soho in the rain.
What?
It's crazy.
It's a song, Werewolves with London.
Right. You actually have been to Soho, right? Okay. Fun area of London. More fun than this film. I'll say that. Wright originally had Anya Taylor-Joy in mind for the role of Eloise, but later came around to the idea of her playing Sandy, and she agreed after reading a draft of the script. Thomasin McKenzie got Wright's attention with her performance in the film Leave No Trace. This would be the final appearance of Diana Rigg, who died a year before its release. It, of course, belatedly ended up being the final appearance of Terence Stamp as well, who recently passed away. Kneel before Zod.
Yep.
The Supreme Chancellor himself, gone. If there's
before
one
Zod.
role we should remember him for, Anton, it's Supreme Chancellor Valorum in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Right. That was it.
Was in that?
He sure was.
I feel like everybody from my generation remembers him from the Haunted Mansion, where Eddie Murphy just is like that evil butler. Like when I saw the image of it, because I didn't know what name you texted me, I was like, "Who is that?" I was like, "No,
You don't know General
like that.
Zod?
I didn't know his name. I'm terrible with names."
That's like his most I think that's his most iconic role. General
Zod, right?
Zod.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So you don't think it's Valorum?
Close second, maybe.
I mean, it's definitely like probably not top 20. It's a horrible movie. Sorry, I'll move on. This was filmed between May and August of 2019. Reshoots were done at Pinewood Studios.
Ooh, shouts out to Pinewood Studios.
Anton, how are you supposed to go out to dinner after this?
Is it very clear that I'm in pain?
It is. I commend you, sir.
Yeah. I actually, the more I talk, the more I feel like this feeling of like an ice pick behind my eyes.
I mean, do you just want to attack it head on and just straight bourbon? Like, what do you think?
At this point, I don't want to walk downstairs and grab a drink.
Okay.
But I think that I'm willing to try anything. I just took like 3 ibuprofen.
Okay. Wash it down with some bourbon.
Wait a minute.
I was going to say
That's the exact opposite.
No, sometimes you just keep going. You just open it back up, hair of the dog.
This comedy.
No, the hair of the dog did save me on Saturday when I was up till 5 a.m. and then had a martini for lunch. Did save me.
Sometimes you just got to do it.
Yeah.
I think that's it for the production. We should talk about Why Wasn't It Better? Really, really quick, though. If you are enjoying Why Wasn't It Better, make sure that you're following the show wherever you listen, whether it be Spotify, Apple, whatever app, so that you never miss an episode. We are on all the big social media platforms. Links to all of those are in the description. And if you really like what we're doing and you want to help keep the mics on, head over to our Patreon at patreon.com/WWIB podcast. You can support the show, get access to episodes a full week early and ad-free, and plus, you'll get access to bonus content.
Yeah, and we have different tiers of bonus content. At the top tier, you can even go on a date with either Pat or myself.
That is not true. That is not part of the Patreon program. But you can request a film of your choosing,
Right.
and we
That's
will cover
that's
it for
what
you.
it was.
Right.
I always forget it's one of the two.
Well, it's understandable. I am a man of all seasons. Whatever that means, I don't know. I don't know.
What is going on?
I don't know. Anton, you want to pour that drink? I think you need it.
I think I might need it. Is that
All
the
right.
right thing to do?
Yeah, let's take two.
I
Zion,
will.
please join us. I'm going to pour a drink as well.
I'm gonna pour. You know what? I would love to have a drink with you guys on my birthday.
All right, let's do that.
I'm gonna go pour a
Let's
drink.
do that.
I'll be right back.
That's
Okay.
awesome. I'll be right back.
All right, then. All right, we're back.
Hold on.
Anton, this doesn't happen often enough.
I know.
How's that,
Okay.
Anton?
It's really nice. It's some Four Roses.
Nice.
It's very
Oh,
nice.
They drink bourbon in North by Northwest. Why, darling, I'm delighted to meet you again.
Unless I saw this is the one where like the building blows up at the end, right?
No,
No, that's
The-
a completely different one.
They love gin in London, right?
they do.
Yeah.
Big gin drinkers.
Yeah. I remember
Beefeater.
I had a lot of really good gin in London, so
Yeah.
that makes sense.
All right. Let's talk Why Wasn't It Better? Anton's got his drink. We're back on track. I want to start with the second half of this because the bulk of the criticism, I think, against this film has to do with the second half. I was warned about this beforehand, which probably didn't help. I usually don't like to learn these things before, but like someone told me, like, oh, the second half, it really drops off. I think it's valid criticism, though.
Yeah, it's that's something that will often, I think, put a little bit of a bias spin. Question for you. Is Anya Taylor-Joy related to Uma Thurman?
I don't think so.
Now I must do research.
Are you asking, do you know?
No, I don't know. I just think that their eyes do the same thing.
I don't think that they are related,
What?
but the second half of this film, it gets pretty messy. And this is what I wanted to ask you both. Is this a horror movie?
I don't think it is a horror movie. It's fun. It's more psycho thriller than anything.
I'm gonna tell you the last like 30 minutes. I don't know if it's because as a comedian, you find everything funny. That's how I cope with life. I was cracking the hell up, like just like the second to third act. Like I was losing it. So for me, I was like, I don't know what this is supposed to be right now. I know it's kind of like serious, but I don't know. I don't know what I would classify it as.
Nothing really is scary in the first half. It's very magical in the first half.
Yeah. Trippy, like sort of Hitchcockian, but in a psychedelic type of way. I recall this being marketed as some kind of a horror film, though. That's why I'm asking, because it's like my biggest problem with the second half is kind of like what you were talking about, Zion. It couldn't decide if it wanted to be scary or not. It kept insert all the ghost shots where it's like it seems like they're going for scary, but in like a Ghostbusters way, and I can't figure this out.
Yeah, the writing, I think, also was a bit more perplexing. The way that the story unravels at the end didn't feel very natural.
I agree.
So it was harder to be afraid when I had more questions.
I don't know. I think for me, even like when it comes to like the big reveal, I personally I don't want to say, I don't know. Like the reveal for me, like it fell flat. Like everything that was supposed to be like chilling or scary, I think it quickly loses its effect. Like I found the trailer to be slightly more terrifying than the actual film. Because the
Hmm.
film, I'm telling you, it wraps up like a Disney Channel original movie, like a little Ghostbusters episode. Like, oh, everything's sweet, everything's good, let's move on. This happened, but I don't know. It doesn't stick with you, if that makes any sense. It's not haunting to me.
And the ghosts look bad.
It's interesting in the sense too, if expectations were this is a horror film, I'd be pretty bummed out if I went to the theaters expecting a horror film.
It came out 2 days before Halloween. So is that what happened to you?
So I was expecting more of like a subverted horror film just because I know Edgar Wright. I know what he does with his genres. So personally, I remember going in and kind of thinking this can't be like a standard horror film, but I was actually expecting something closer to horror. I think that's where my expectations lied. But even then, I wouldn't say that this was like a different take on the genre. This just was not a horror film.
And yet it's classified as that. Zion, you mentioned the Haunted Mansion earlier when we were talking about Terrence Stamp. That's kind of what the ghosts in here reminded me of.
I'm telling you.
It's kind of goofy.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like really, like just chilling, man. Like it was kind of like cartoonish. As the story unravels, you're just sitting there like, this ain't it.
And then
Yeah,
as the story relies more and more on the ghost, like, did you notice? Because I watched this a couple times.
hmm
Early on in the film, when the ghosts first start to appear, they're kind of intangible. It doesn't seem like they can physically touch Eloise. They can only like appear and frighten her. But then by the climax of the movie, they can pull her and restrain her. And why didn't they do this earlier? It's
Yeah.
unclear what they can do.
I think, like I said, like it was messy. It was very messy. Like at certain points of the film, like it just leaves you with questions. Like, okay, well, I still, and we'll get into this a little bit later, but like when it comes to the way things are like revealed and how it wraps up, it left me wondering, like, wow, is this it? Like, what is truly haunted? Was it because of, like the old lady that was there? What is tying this all together? Is it the building? What is it?
How many men did she murder, would you say? Like 30? More?
Enough to fit the floorboards.
Right. Well, this leads to my like next set of questions because I couldn't help but wonder this as I was watching this. It's like, how did she get away with it? Like, we know there was a police officer involved at one point, right? Played by Terrence Stamp, who, by the way, Eloise like basically kills and faces no repercussions for that at all,
Mm-hmm.
which is like sort of funny, but also not funny. Like, man, she just got that old guy killed, and she's like, oh, okay, bye. But was there like a proper murder investigation done back in the 60s? A lot of guys went missing. They all get boarded up in this house run by Diana Rigg's character. How did she get away with it?
I think the only thing I can think of is crimes. Well, not really. Well, yeah, I guess you could say it was a different time. I think that's probably what the film wants you to think. Like it would have been harder for her to have been found out, but then also at the same time, it wasn't just one person that went missing. Like you said, it was well over 30. So the fact that nobody would have connected the dots and thought like this lady is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, something is going on. Like
Mm-hmm.
I yeah, yeah.
She kills her pimp first, right? Matt Smith's character. That's revealed later on, right? Remember, initially during one of the flashback visions that Eloise has, we think that Matt Smith's character kills Sandy, but it's really the other way around.
And did it feel obvious to you guys what the twist was going to be?
Kind of. I wasn't like super surprised by it. I didn't need to be surprised by it. Like it's the kind of twist that I don't mind if you can see something like that coming. That wasn't necessarily a bother to me.
No.
But the murder stuff just didn't make sense to me. Like I was waiting for an explanation on like how she ended up getting away with it. That's a lot of bodies to stuff up in your floorboards. That would have stunk bad.
It would have stunk. It also, she doesn't seem like someone that would be informed to know how to take care of that properly. No.
It does lead to a lot of cool visuals in the first half though. But where'd Zion go? Oh gosh.
Like the marquee with, was it Thunderball?
Yes.
Yeah, that was cool. I thought of you then.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And the Vesper.
Yes.
There's another Bond reference that I'll reveal later.
Diana Rigg.
No, a far less obvious one. I can just say it now. So the old barmaid at the Toucan, where Eloise gets the job, that is the same actress who played Dink in Thunderball. I mean, who played Dink in Goldfinger.
Okay, cool.
Margaret Nolan. She also passed away. This is her last film. She passed away shortly after this came out.
So in 2015, Anya Taylor-Joy was in the film The Witch, Robert Eggers film.
The Vivitch?
Yeah, Vivitch. Played a character whose name was Thomason. And of course, the main character of this film is portrayed by actor Thomason something or other.
Mackenzie.
Yes.
I don't think it's a coincidence, Anton.
I don't think it is either.
I think this was very, very deliberate. There are certain scenes where she's only witnessing the flashbacks, right? As like these dreams. But there's also moments where she's able to interact, where like very famously where she smashes the mirror. You remember that part? It was used in the trailer. So I was trying to figure out, I'm like, when can and can't she interact with the characters in these flashback dreams? And Edgar Wright explained it as different levels of lucidity. It's like when you have dreams where there's something happening to you and it feels real, but then there's also dreams where you're more aware you're dreaming, so you don't experience things the same way that you do. I don't even know if that makes sense.
Yeah, like dream journals allowing people to dream to do more in their dream. For more around this concept, people can go watch Christopher Nolan's very famous film on this concept, Tenet.
That was Tenet. You mean yes. Batman Begins.
Yes.
Yeah, the first half of this, pretty visually interesting, some pretty cool concepts. I do agree with the criticism about the second half, though. It kind of lost me. The scenes of like Eloise, Thomason Mackenzie's character, when she's like screaming and running away from the fake ghost. Remember, she's in the library at one point. Then they chase her sort of into the house.
What is the key point for second half of the film?
Do you know?
Is it Matt? Is it the reveal on Matt Smith's character?
I feel like that's the turning point in the story where you see that it's actually the murder is the other way around.
I think maybe for me, then watching it from that point on, it did feel a bit more. I don't know. I just didn't end up enjoying it as much.
But man, it's a good looking film.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
It is gorgeous, man. I'm telling you, I wish you would have seen it like inside of a theater setting. Colors popped.
I think this is one of those films where watching it on streaming, it's easy to get distracted. Maybe you don't focus on the colors or how it looks as much. I totally agree with you, Zion. This is a film to see in theaters, if anything.
I wish I had. Fortunately, I was able to watch this when I was home alone. So it was just me. I didn't have any distractions. So I got a pretty good version of this on Peacock. And I mean, this has always been a strength of Edgar Wright's, right? The visuals, for sure. He has a flair for it. The production design and the lighting, the cinematography in here, both gorgeous. I'm a little surprised they didn't get Oscar nominations.
Yeah, it's a really... So this is another thing, too, that I have a lot of respect for Edgar Wright. The same cinematographer on the movie was also very famously worked on Oldboy.
Yes, I have him written down. Chung Hoon Chung.
Yep. And Zion, have you seen Oldboy?
No.
Oof. It's a rough movie in the sense that like it haunts you, but it's one of my favorite films of all time.
Very moody cinematography, kind of like you see here. More recently, Anton, this guy, he shot It, the two-parter, and Uncharted. So he's done some other high-profile stuff too, but I think very deliberate choice on Wright's part to hire him. There was clearly a very specific look that he wanted to capture, and yeah, like I said, if nothing else, this should have gotten an Oscar nomination for cinematography because there's not a lot of CGI in here either. They did a lot of this stuff practically, and I was reading it was Chung's idea to light the phone green while the rest of the room is completely red during like the final. The climax of the film. It's like stuff like that. It's just like really clever stuff that they're doing with the colors. Zion, you said it, like everything here really pops. The lighting is just, this is like masterclass stuff.
Oh yeah. My favorite scenes in terms of lighting were the scenes where like we're in old London. Oh my God.
the music adds to that too, right?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
we couldn't hear anything you
definitely.
just said.
Yeah, that was the main point. Just I totally agree with
Okay.
you, Zion, and not only the lighting but the music.
Yeah, yeah. The music was it was. He did a very good job when it came to like selecting songs that coincided with the scenes. That were yeah, yeah, that was good.
Yeah, and I feel like Edgar Wright probably puts together the best playlist for parties just because I feel like every one of his movies he has so many different songs that just go really well with the film.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm
I feel
usually
you.
not a fan of like putting older songs into the soundtrack, but this was such a wonderful use of it. It was so appropriate. Everything is
Hmm.
like perfectly cut. It was almost like he was cutting scenes to the songs, which is I'm sure what he did. And just back to the cinematography really quick. Like the camera is moving around so much. I was just Googling how a lot of this stuff was done because I knew Edgar Wright, he said something about like I didn't want to use a lot of CGI. I tried to do things as practically as I could. So the scene where Eloise first sees Sandy through the mirror, that was done practically. To achieve this mirror effect, the cloakroom attendant is played by two different actors, the twins Oliver and James Phelps, Anton and Zion. They are the same individuals who played Fred and George Weasley in the Harry Potter
Yep,
series.
can't
This
forget
is
that.
really clever stuff.
That is clever.
And during the dance sequence, Sandy, Ellie, and Jack, that's Matt Smith's character, they were the only two moments that were not practical. The rest of the transitions were entirely choreographed and done in camera. I think that was
So
just
cool.
brilliant
That's
stuff.
so cool.
It
That is
really
just
is.
so cool.
Yeah.
Pacing, this is
Uneven.
also, I think, one of the problems of the second half. This is 116 minutes. It felt longer to me. All the stuff where Eloise are having her meltdowns, you know, when she's in like fashion designer class and she starts to freak out. That happens a couple times.
I think that part of it is any pacing issues just make it a bit more distracting for what should be when I think of a horror film. A good horror film has great pacing. It has proper build.
Then we get to the climax, right? I think a great performance from Diana Rigg. It was great to see her in a final role like this, right? This is a very juicy role for her to do. I have a problem with the writing though for her character. It's like she's sympathetic, right? In one sense, because the men she was murdering were exploiting her. You could make that case, right? And I think the
Right.
film was sort of trying to do that. But then she's perfectly willing to murder Eloise and her boyfriend.
Which was a little weirder.
Yeah.
But then Eloise forgives her, and then she just dies in the fire. She's like, I know why you did what you did.
Now you can burn.
Now you sit in the fire. Sorry, it's a terrible version. She does not
Talking like
sound like that.
she having a little bit of whatever we drinking, like she's slurring her words.
Yeah, well, she was poisoned at that scene, you know. She was, I'm slowing down a little bit.
So with this movie, do you guys think that they were trying to set up a sequel at the end of it?
Personally, I don't think so. I think it was just more of look at these powers and being able to engage with an actual ghost in the mirror.
So I guess that leads me to my next question, and I sort of alluded to it, not alluded, but I mentioned it earlier. The supernatural aspect of it was very messy to me because I didn't, and I had the conversation with Pat, like I didn't know, okay, is it the house? Is it like the school? Like what's going on?
Yeah,
Why is
I
she
think
being targeted?
I see exactly where you're coming from. It's like, what is the power rule set in this film for the supernatural? Like, how powerful are these powers? Where are they sourced from? A lot of questions, even today.
Yeah, that was one of the main things that sort of like fell apart for me because it's like at first it was ominous. You know, we're doing some world building and it just leaves you wondering, like, okay. And then you get to the end of the movie and it's like your question is never really answered. Like, what the hell is this? Like,
Right.
like, is she tripping? Like, what's going on?
And Pat said it earlier, the powers seem a little inconsistent in how they work.
Yeah.
So I think it was one of the more poorly handled aspects of the film.
Who wrote this? M. Night Shyamalan?
Now wait a minute, not because M. Night's first like few movies, they were solid. I don't know what he got going on now, but
The supernatural was a bit more easy to follow, right?
oh yeah.
Until The
Absolutely.
Village, yes.
Now The Village.
Well, there was no supernatural in the village,
But we thought there was.
but we thought there was.
I really like The Village. I'm one of the few people who genuinely like that movie.
Oh, no. How can you?
Because I'm a Bryce Dallas Howard fan.
Oh.
I
Have you heard
also
our
like Bryce
episode on
Dallas
The
Howard.
Village?
No, you guys did an episode on The Village?
Of course we did.
Yeah,
We did it last year
featuring-
for the 20th anniversary. We all failed it.
Featuring favorite guest, was it Pete?
It was Pete, who did
It was
not
Pete.
fail it, actually. I misspoke. He gave it a D-.
You know what? I'm gonna have to go listen to that.
If you're a fan of that movie, I don't think you'll like what we have to say.
Well, I'm pretty open when it comes to people's hot takes. I liked it. It's just I will say the first time I watched the ending, I was like, but back to this movie. The ending for me, it just telling you, it reminds me of like an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark mixed with like Goosebumps. Like you know how like at the end of those like children's horror shows where it's like they resolve the problem, everything's okay. There's something like there that's like, ooh, I'm still watching you. Oh,
Dun 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 dun.
There's a real, I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you meddling kids vibe.
yeah, that's exactly
Yeah.
what it was.
Did either of you ever see Frequency?
That might be before my time.
Remind me who was in it.
Jim Caviezel and I think Dennis Quaid, and it's a kind of a similar flashback murder mystery thing where the past and the present can crisscross. This film reminded me of that.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
I've seen
I
that.
can't say that I've seen it, but watching this film, I was reminded of the film. Was it Blue Velvet?
Oh, I can see that.
Yeah,
David Lynch.
Yep.
At his weirdest.
very weird. So I wouldn't be shocked if Edgar Wright was also inspired by that film with this.
I could totally see that. Let's talk about the cast. The protagonist of the film, Eloise, played by Thomasin McKenzie. I do really like the actress, and I do like her performance here, if not necessarily how she was written. She's rather passive and doesn't come across as smart, and we were talking about this a little bit earlier. I'm not really sure how her psychic abilities work. It's just not clear.
Feels like more of an insert character for the audience.
Yeah. Except for the times where she's able to intervene with certain things. It's just inconsistent. Again, I like her performance. I think her acting in here is good. Except for where she gets Terrence Stamp killed. That's kind of sad.
Yeah, that was really sad.
Yeah, in retrospect. They don't address that, too. It's at the end of the movie, like, oh, man, I got that poor man killed.
And he was an undercover cop.
Right.
I really liked Anya Taylor-Joy in this. Anya, she's good in whatever she does, but it was something about this. Like she had like a slight edge to her.
There was one film I didn't like her in. It was The New Mutants.
I think I watched that movie and I was like, I didn't hate it as much as everybody else did.
It's a very forgotten X-Men film.
On purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
On purpose.
I don't think I've heard of that.
Oh,
Didn't they-
it's like VH1's The X-Men is what it felt like.
Didn't that one come out like in the pandemic and they were like just basically like release it so they can get it over with? Because they knew
Yeah,
it was
and
going to tank.
It had a lot of actors in the film that were top young talent of the day. And so it had people from Stranger Things. It had what's her like the youngest Stark sister in Game of Thrones. So it was a really like everything on paper. The film was like it really interested me, but then the actual film itself was hot garbage. But
I mean, you're not selling it to me at all.
The
I mean,
only
great.
sounds-
It's
sounds
great
terrible.
conversation.
We're going to have to cover
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
the
but it's
only
a-
reason.
but no, just John Lovitz was not in this film.
He was not. The highlight of this for me is Edgar Wright let Diana Rigg and Terrence Stamp cook. They are great in their final film roles. It's really nice to watch.
Do you think Diana Rigg was like, "Please give me a knife for my last role"?
I hope so. Because what was she, 82, 83? I mean, pretty old.
She was great. She was great.
It's a great send-off for her. And, you know, we didn't know it at the time, but Terrence Stamp, this is his final screen appearance.
Man.
And then Matt Smith. I don't know what to make of him.
I think he's a fantastic actor,
I do too.
but he doesn't always have the best things that he's worked in.
Does he have a bad agent or something?
I would say yes, but then he's been in fantastic. Like he was in The Crown,
He's great as Prince Philip.
he's fantastic
Yeah,
in it. He's one of the most beloved Doctor Who's.
right. He's probably the most famous Doctor Who, right? I think
There's
He's
him and
one
Barty
of-
Crouch. It's him
Yeah.
and Barty Crouch Jr.
David Tennant.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I know he's on that show, House of the Dragon.
Which it's another role that I think it's not the best. Well, it's not the most well-written role for him, but he still acts really well in it.
But his film stuff, I don't know. He's good in this movie, but I don't know that I've seen him in a lot of other movies. I know him from streaming stuff, TV stuff. Maybe that's our fault, Anton. Maybe that's our flaws as viewers, that we can't recognize him for his talents in movies. I don't know.
Well, looking at his roles in film, it's just also not a very. He doesn't have a ton of films that he's worked on.
And the ones he have worked on, they suck.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, your words.
Zion, you said it. Honestly, you said it perfectly. And so again, it supports Pat's earlier statement. It's not so much him as an actor. It's just a lot of really bad films, or at least films that just I don't know why he would sign up for it other than to get a good paycheck. And I'm looking at you, Morbius.
I ain't even watched it. Ray Charles could have told you that was going to be hot, steaming garbage. Like that, no.
And Ray Charles is dead. He could have been a ghost in this movie.
He could have. That
But he,
imagine?
but he would have been alive in the 60s.
Right. True. Good point.
They could have got Jamie Foxx to do it again.
This ain't no tobacco.
I don't know why, but that just is a really funny image to me. Just like there's all these faceless ghosts, but then Ray Charles played by Jamie Foxx.
Just at a piano.
Yeah.
My favorite part is where he tries weed for the first time. He's like, "Hey, this ain't no tobacco."
Ray, stop cooking with the lights off.
Oh, it's great.
It's like, why does it matter?
It doesn't.
Frying chicken in the dark is just never. I've never done that.
But you're not blind.
No, but just cooking in the dark, that's different. I don't know.
Especially with like hot oil. Yeah, that's a little risky.
But
maybe.
For Ray, he's got it.
He knows what he's doing. Moving through the rest of the cast, it is nice to see Rita Tushingham still alive and working. Anton, she goes all the way back to Dr. Zhivago.
Pretty neat. Yeah.
I like the actor Michael Ajal that played Eloise's love interest.
Yep.
Not a whole lot for him to do. I still don't know how he survived the end. He gets stabbed pretty good.
Well, maybe they didn't want you to think that he got stabbed. Maybe they want you to think that the blade was invisible.
Is that what you thought?
Like it was like a Freddy versus Jason-esque dream sequence where somebody gets stabbed, but then they wake up. Uh-oh, you felt it, but it didn't. Hey, it didn't.
I think he got stabbed by old Diana Rigg. Or Sandy, technically. Her name's Sandy.
The cast was really good for this. Those girls at that school, they kind of pissed me off. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
That's another part of the film that like drags for me is like the dorm room stuff, the partying, the late to class. I didn't need any of that.
I told you, Disney Channel original movie. They had to put that in there. Like yeah. I'm telling you, if you cut out some of just the explicit language and just cut around it, this would have aired on Disney Channel.
I think you're right.
Yeah, especially take away maybe a bit more of imply more of the violence at the end. You're good. This would definitely be a Disney Channel original movie.
And they would have loved it.
It really is like a Goosebumps Haunted Mansion type of tone. It is. Which I guess was deliberate on Edgar Wright's part, I suppose.
I mean, yeah, Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire.
Point.
Nah,
Fright Night.
Yeah, Freaky Friday.
No, wait a minute. That one actually went to theaters.
That one did go to theaters. I'm just referencing it because everywhere I look, Freakier Friday.
I told Pat I saw it. I actually liked it.
It's in my face, just like any ad or any marketing with Jamie Lee Curtis right now.
Would you say she's like Pedro Pascal? Maybe a little overexposed?
But Jamie, like, Jamie's been at the forefront of everything since forever.
Since she weirdly won that Academy Award.
Jamie Lee Curtis is bad.
Like, are you saying bad like a good?
Like a good bad.
Oh, okay.
When she won that Oscar, I like Jamie Lee Curtis, but every other person in that category gave a performance that warranted it.
Bizarre Oscar win.
It was a very bizarre Oscar win.
Man,
we were all kind of like, huh?
Angela Bassett's face was hilarious. She was like,
she was pissed. She was so over it. Was
she really expecting to win for a Marvel movie though? Like,
I would have chosen her over Jamie.
Well, I would have expected her to recognize her previous work, like "We're sorry it's taken so long to get you an award" kind of thing.
Oh, the
I
Academy
think
doesn't play like that
they
now.
Yeah, they
no,
do.
they gave it to her the next
The
year.
Revenant.
The Revenant is like Leo's worst role.
Yeah, but they were like, "Fine, you can have an Oscar here."
Like, fine.
Mm,
We'll give Martin Scorsese his Oscar for The Departed. Fine.
just this movie, man. I think it would have been better if it. And what was crazy was I did at the time. I remember just watching like a lot of the interviews and stuff. Apparently, Edgar Wright was consulting with Jordan Peele a lot. Like Jordan Peele has nothing to do with this movie, but he was getting like script notes and stuff from him, just like other people who were big in horror at the time too. Just like, hey, what will make this better? You would think somebody would have told him like, hey, something about this is not necessarily like cartoonish, but it's not as mature as it needs to be. Like it just it kind of disintegrates at a certain point. Like we start off strong, and then like this
You,
movie for some reason reminds me of The Witches, like with Angelica Houston. I don't know why it does, but it does.
so do you want to give your rating then?
Yeah, I give it about a solid.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Well,
It'll
Zion,
get.
as the guest, you can go first if you want.
Oh, thank you. That's the tequila working. I would say it's not terrible. Well acted. You could tell they put like a lot of heart and soul into like the physical production of it as well. I would give this movie probably like a solid 6.5, 7 out of 10. It kept my attention. I wasn't bored, but I
Well, we don't use
definitely
numbers,
expect.
buddy. We use letters here.
Do you want to give
Oh,
it do you give it a C? Is that where you're landing?
I was about to say a very hard cuss word. Yes, it is going to get a C, like a C minus.
It's
Anton?
Yeah, I don't particularly love this film. I've seen better from Edgar Wright. I think that if you just look at it as what could have been, I think that maybe there's a bit more of a tighter film, especially with the unevenness with the film. Nothing about the film particularly offended me, but I kind of wish something did or something was more striking, because then I could point to it versus like just inherent weakness in the second half, because I really did like the performances. I just didn't love the way the film played out. So I give this one like a C, like yes, a C. If anything, a lot of the hard carry here is the performances and the atmosphere of the film. I think if anyone were to watch this, it was just to get like a bit more of a spooky vibe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm everything both of you said, I pretty much agree with. I really enjoyed the first half. The second half was a fizzle. It felt kitschy and it went on too long. I got pretty bored with it because it's not a full-blown horror movie, but it's also not funny enough for me to think it was like really entertaining. It is beautifully shot. And I think the cinematography, again, I should have been nominated for an Oscar, as should have the production design. Seeing swinging 60s London was really cool. Diana Rigg is great in her final performance. Terrence Stamp, same thing. I enjoyed the other performances. It's really hard to rate for me because there are a lot of things to like about this movie. It's also pretty unique, and I want to give it credit for that. This is a pretty original story, and Wright deserves credit for that because it's pretty hard to do in today's industry. Write something this original. But it does feel like a disappointment to me. It is a mediocre story that I think is partially saved by great acting, great cinematography, a great soundtrack. So I would say sounds like an Edgar Wright film to me. Because I feel kind of the same way about a lot of his other films. This is exactly how I feel about Baby Driver. This is how I feel about The World's End. This is how I feel about Scott Pilgrim. I'm seeing a recurring trend here with Edgar Wright. I don't know if I can fully recommend this one, Anton or Zion.
Yeah,
It's
I was gonna say, would you watch this again?
I would watch it with other people, but like by myself, no, probably not. But you said it earlier, Anton. There's nothing in here that's offensive. There's nothing in here that's outright terrible. I think it's okay. I think C minus is where I'm going to land. I'll echo both of your sentiments and say a soft C.
All right. Well, last night in Soho, listeners, if you watch along the video, there was one point in the video where my headache was hurting so much, I just closed my eyes for 2 minutes straight.
I noticed. And they will too, now that you've pointed it out. Zion, Great to have you on as always.
Hey, I'm always just a text away. Pleasure being here.
Pleasure as always. We'll have you back soon. This is a quick one. I like it. Fast, like a
Yeah,
bullet.
this one was pretty fast.
Yeah,
They don't all have to be long episodes.
We'll have you back again soon, Zion. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
And that is it for this week's edition of Why Wasn't It Better? Thanks for listening, and see you next time.